everyone, I'm Bill.
And I'm Wagner.
And we're with Cali Moto TV. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Thunderhill Raceway. We are here with the Dysturbed Ryders group. Berto, JR, George, thank you for having us here today. Dysturbed Ryders does this track day once a year. They've been doing it for 12 years. It's an open track day, so we're gonna have a lot of track time. Limited riders here, so we should be able to get you guys some good footage. Dave Moss is also here, so we're going to be able to work with the over suspension for you guys on the Street Fighter. But of course, as normal, we have the normal collection. Wagner's V2, she absolutely loves it. We have the Street Fighter. The Street Fighter, the Ducati Street Fighter, and then the S1000 Single R with the new Leo Vinci pipe. I'm excited to hear this thing out on track and get it broken in. But the Street Fighter, we're going to be working on the over suspension today. So we have a little camera that we're going to be filming the back tire and watching the chatter and seeing how well the over suspension works today, and kind of getting a little bit of feel for what Dave Moss thinks about this, because he's not used it, he's only heard about it. So without further ado, let's get the helmet cam on. And we're not doing chesty cam today, no chesty cam because we're not at Chuckwalla. So helmet cam on and out on track we go. All right, you guys, well, we're heading out on our first session. I'm sure Wagner will pass us at some point today. She has become a little bit fast out there, so. But this is my jam track. If you guys are familiar with the channel, you know I absolutely love Thunderhill. I like the fast tracks personally. I don't mind the tighter technical stuff, but I prefer the faster stuff, so personally. So we're gonna head out onto our warm-up lap. Heat in the tires. And in the riders meeting, very nice, Dave Moss is here. We're gonna be working with Dave a little bit later today on the over suspension, but just some amazing words from Dave Moss. You know, get out here, get your warm-up laps, you guys, get your warm-up laps. He encourages people, run 3 warm-up laps before you really get into it. You know, I'm pretty good with 1, but it's good words of recommendations when you guys are out on track. And he also talked about tire pressures, and it's the first time I've ever heard anybody really recommend a baseline tire pressure when you're out on track, because if you're riding on the street, if you guys know, your street pressures don't work out here. Those high pressures just don't work. So if you guys are ever curious about what pressures you should be running on the track, his recommendation is a good start is 30 front, 28 rear. Now, I run 30 front, 23 rear. Obviously, I pick up the pace a little bit, but we can get those tires a little bit hotter in the rear, which then expands that tire pressure. So hot, I should be running around that 25 and some change. So what's nice here at Thunderhill today with Berto and Dysturbed Ryders, again, huge shout out to these guys. 12 years in doing these track days, and it's actually the first one I've ever made it to. Berto and the Dysturbed Ryders supported us over at Cali track days in the big way. George was obviously one of my instructors. Yeah, so I'm happy to be out here today. So they're running a little different format today. They run a open track day. So an open track day is basically where the track is just open all day. And you can come and go as you please. And there's some pros and cons to that, of course. The biggest con to it, personally, is the speed differential that you have between riders. You have some riders that are new to the track. There's a half dozen riders that have never done track days. So I personally like, on days like today, a two-group format, because honestly, riding for 30 minutes is more than anybody really needs. So, but people really like this open format because, like I said, it really gives them the opportunity to kind of just ride at your own pace and ride at your own times and come and go. We can come off the track and on the track as much as we like, as much as we please. So as we're getting up to pace here, get a little better adjustment to this track. Remembering the shift points, remembering the lines. Remember the braking points. Entrances, exits. God, I just absolutely love this track. So stay tuned, because we've got hopefully a good in-depth ride on this over suspension. I've had a lot of you guys asking about this over suspension, and I really want to give you guys the answer, because there isn't much out there as far as videos that talk about the actual working of this over suspension. So what we're going to do today, be working with Dave Moss, and we're going to be mounting the camera on the back and watching the rear wheel chatter. Basically the movement of the rear wheel, because that's what we're trying to eliminate. Is that rear wheel chatter, which is going to give you better tire wear, in addition to less working of the suspension. So stay tuned. I guess it's a good time for my shameless plug. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and then ring that bell notification. Bell notification is going to give you future notification about when our over suspension video is out. We're also going to be doing our first ride with the Leo Vinci exhaust. Stay tuned for that. A little early break there. And going to be talking about these winglets in one of the videos today. So stay tuned for the new update on the CNC fiber covered winglets. Yeah, I think a lot's going on today. And then when we get home, we've got some more parts arriving this week for the Ducati. So stay tuned. Just stay tuned, you guys. Just stay tuned. This guy was quick to get out and get that new showy Marc Marquez helmet that he just rode in at Austin with the rodeo. Backside, no need to rush. Good little warm-up session, you guys. No need to get out there and be bombed straight off the bat. Also, I want to give you guys an update on the Termignoni exhaust after the straightaway. So the Termignoni exhaust did come off. I took it off after the first ride, mainly because I just didn't want to damage it anymore. The first ride, it scraped on this left side. So Dave Moss is making a house call to us. Dave, thank you so much for what you do. I always talk about Dave Moss, and it's great to have his phone number in my phone. So he's going to be making a house call to us and coming out, and we're going to be respringing the rear of this bike and getting it dialed back in. So then we'll get the Termignoni exhaust back on and go from there. If you guys remember that BMW we just passed with the pink wheels, that's JR's. JR actually bought my exhaust from my S1000R. And he's running on that bike there, so. All right, guys, well, that's a good warm-up for us. We're gonna head in. I'm gonna check the tire pressure in the rear because we're moving a teeny bit back there. So, good warm-up session. Kind of works out your kinks. Make sure you've got everything in hand. Make sure you're working out good. So we're gonna check the hot tire pressure. I started at 23 cold. So let's see what we've got for our hot tire pressure. Let's pull over here real quick. And we're gonna check the rear, see how the tire's doing. Yeah, it's tearing up pretty good. So some cold tears. So we definitely want this thing at 20. I want to see this thing at 21, I think, is where I want this right now. Come along with me, guys. 20. Oh, wait. So 29, way too high, way too high. So there's a good example of the amount of difference in tire pressure. This morning before we went out, it was 23, and I want it 23 hot off the track. It's fighting with me right now. So if you guys are seeing tearing like this, it's what they call a cold tear. Your tire pressures historically are going to be too high. The fronts are probably going to be good. 23. All right, I like it. The front's probably, or the rear is it. The front looks good. Yeah. Fronts don't get as hot, so we're at 30. It's probably 31, 32 in the front. But this rear tire, we're definitely sliding around quite a bit, and it's an equal-sided track, more of a left-handed, so we're going to be wearing more of this side of the tire out today. But this is a fresh tire, so we'll be able to smooth it out before we get to Dave Moss and talk about the over suspension. But thank you guys for sticking around. Quick little video, but hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys will come back for more about the over suspension. I'm also going to be talking about the winglets. Yes, 1000 single R. I'm ready. So thank you guys, do the normal, and we'll see you guys next video. Bye guys.